1812, Napoleon Bonaparte stood at the height of his power. After years of victories, the French Empire dominated continental Europe. Only one major power remained defiant: Russia. History tells us how it ended: a disastrous retreat, the destruction of the Grande Armée, and the beginning of Napoleon's fall. But what if the campaign had ended differently? Today, we examine a serious alternative scenario. Not fantasy, but a historically grounded analysis. What might have happened if Napoleon had won in Russia? After the Battle of Borodino, the Russian army retreated, but it was not destroyed. Napoleon entered Moscow. Soon after, much of the city burned. Tsar Alexander I refused to negotiate. Winter approached. Supply lines collapsed. Out of more than 600,000 soldiers, only a fraction returned. This moment, Moscow, autumn 1812, is where history could have changed. First, Moscow is not largely destroyed. The French army secures winter quarters and stable supplies. Second, Alexander I agrees to negotiate. The Russian army is exhausted. The nobility fears instability. Third, peace is signed before extreme winter sets in. The treaty could include Russia fully rejoining the continental system, territorial adjustments in Poland, recognition of French dominance in Central Europe. Russia remains sovereign, but strategically aligned with France. Without the catastrophe in Russia, there is no sixth coalition strong enough to defeat Napoleon. Prussia does not rise as a revenge-driven power. Austria remains cautious. Britain stands increasingly isolated on the continent. There is no invasion of France in 1814, no abdication, no Congress of Vienna in 1815. The European balance of power system, the one that shaped the 19th century, never forms in the same way. French hegemony becomes the defining political structure of Europe. Russia would not become a colony, but its geopolitical position would shift dramatically. Possible consequences include accelerated military reform, pressure for modernization, deeper integration with continental Europe. At the same time, internal tension would grow. Some nobles would view the treaty as humiliation. Political opposition movements could emerge earlier. Instability might surface not in the 1840s or 1850s, but already in the 1820s. One of the most profound consequences concerns Germany. Without Napoleon's fall, Prussia does not lead a unification movement. The Franco-Prussian War of 1870 never occurs. Germany may remain fragmented or reorganized under French influence. Without the humiliation of France in 1871, European nationalism evolves differently. This does not guarantee the absence of global wars, but it significantly reduces the likelihood of the specific chain of events that led to 1914 and 1939. The structure of Europe would be fundamentally altered. Yet another question remains. Could Napoleon's empire survive long-term? It was built around one individual. After his death, a succession crisis would be likely. National movements, suppressed for years, could re-emerge across Europe. Even victorious in 1812, Napoleon would still face the limits of governing a vast, diverse continent. Europe might avoid one kind of collapse, only to experience another. A French victory in Russia would have reshaped Europe's political architecture. No Congress of Vienna, no Restoration era in its familiar form. A different path for Germany, France, and Russia. History is rarely decided by a single battle, but certain campaigns create structural turning points. The winter of 1812 was one of them. Exploring alternative outcomes does not rewrite the past. It deepens our understanding of how fragile historical systems truly are.